Hi, I'm Courtney McQuade at Markets Group here at our Private Equity Europe event in London. With me is Chris Masek, CEO of IK Partners. Chris, great to see you.
Great to see you, Courtney.
So I just saw you speak on stage. One of my favorite parts of what you were talking about is the way that you told the story about Moneyball and tied it in with the stats that really people should be looking at instead of some of the usual stats. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. So the story behind Moneyball, or the reference to Moneyball, is, again, a favorite movie of mine, where effectively and essentially what they're doing in there is it's a bunch of geeks who tear apart the story of baseball, and they revisit. And the way they do it is that, for years, people are looking basically at your batting average. And what they realize, they come up in particular with one metric that's called the OBP, so it's on your on-base percentage reference. And the gist of it is that, and what they demonstrate is that the batting average was simply the wrong metric to look at. And that by looking at it from a different lens and a different perspective, you can achieve better results for cheaper. And achieve success. So that was sort of the idea in the reference to that, because I'm also convinced that in private equity, we have our own Moneyball time that's long overdue, and we shouldn't just look at, for instance, TVPI, which I consider are useful metrics, but they tend to be quite arbitrary, if not random at times, and inflated, and try and find relevant metrics that can better measure our performance, such as, for instance, DPI.
Better value, then.
Yeah, it's better value, and again, I think a more thorough, honest, and clear understanding of what really is happening in performance, and not get overwhelmed by figures, again, which are often artificial, full of restatements. I don't know if you've ever read any of those reports, but you will have footnotes that probably take up half of the page in very, very small print. So, how do you get beyond that and really understand truly, I've invested, $100 in your fund. How much money actually am I really, really honestly getting out of this?
That's really interesting. And then for you at IK, what are you looking for? What are some of the areas of interest right now?
So we're a European fund. We're focused in what we call the mid-market space, or even the lower mid-market space. We really like that ecosystem. One, Europe, there's a lot of deals to be done, and for our North American viewers out there, it's a great market, very deep market. We probably have more businesses to look into and invest than any other market out there, with very experienced management teams. So that's the first parameter. The second thing I like a lot about what we're looking into there is that these are businesses that are under the radar. They've got a lot of growth potential, a lot of runway, and you can truly transform them. And again, in our market, there's an even further transformational element, which is these are generally very local companies in one of the European markets, and the storyline behind that is how you make them even more covering more territories. So international expansion is a big parameter. So that's what we look for. We look for these sort of, we call them national champions, and we try to transform those national champions into European leaders.
So your own World Series of sorts.
Yeah. Our European series, at least. And then they also attract a lot of U.S. interest, Asian interest, and I think that's also one of the advantages, and that's really what we find, is that not only do you have good value when you invest in these deals, a lot of runway to develop them, but because of that, at exit, you actually do achieve very, very good liquidity with a lot of options. So you're not just looking at, usually for larger deals, the almost only option is to go on the market and list, and when the markets are down, that's not easy. We actually have trade buyers that we can go towards, other PE houses, businesses that are owned by larger PE houses. We call those hybrid deals, where they end up buying our companies and buy and build. So there's just a beauty, I think, of being European, being in the sort of lower and smaller end of the spectrum, and it's been really doing well for us in the past years.
Well, I'm happy to hear that.
Thank you.
And how are you enjoying the event so far?
Oh, it's great. Really good crowd, good people. We had a really inspiring speaker this morning who's a Paralympian. Actually, it's very difficult to come on stage after somebody as inspiring as that, but there you go.
Great. Well, thanks so much for taking the time, Chris. It's great to meet you.
Thanks, Courtney. Bye.
And we're live in London.
Thank you.